Hello, and welcome to the Magic the Gathering Arena YouTube channel. Today we have a special video for you. We are going to talk with some of our art team about how they make our companions, formerly named pets, and they will specifically be going over our newest companion coming to the battlefield, the Goose Mother. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
Heyo, my name is Zach, and I am a 3D creature/character artist here on Magic the Gathering Arena's development team. I'll be talking a little bit about my process when 3D modeling companions for Arena, but we'll be focusing specifically on one of the new companions coming with our Wilds of Eldraine pre-order, the Goose Mother. Her development began the same way all of our companions do, with one of our amazing concept artists concepting her out into 2D. The goal of these concepts is to answer some questions 3D or animation might have about a creature's design. In this case, the biggest question we had to answer was, how many heads should she have? Once a concept is finished, it is then handed off to me so I can translate it from 2D into 3D space. This process always starts simple, with basic shapes like cylinders and spheres, and cubes making up the majority of the creature's forms. We then refine those shapes with feedback from our tech artists. As you can imagine, this process involves a great deal of iteration, but this allows us to be flexible during development if we encounter any problems or limitations. For example, one of the hurdles we encountered when modeling the Goose Mother was how to get her 5 heads to reasonably fit on a body that nature really only intended to have 1. Our solution? I ended up moving the center head forward, resulting in 3 heads across the front and 2 in the back. The added benefit is that this change gave us more room for both head and wing movements without having them clip into each other. Finally, my part is done, and I hand the companion, in this case our Goose Mother, off to one of our animators. I hope you enjoyed the behind-the-scenes look on how companions are made for Magic the Gathering Arena. Hope to see you soon at the next one.
From the very beginning, once we chose the Goose Mother as the pre-order companion, we knew the challenge would be animating 5 unique heads. Taking inspiration from hydras and other pop culture, we wanted each head to feel distinctive in some way even during idle. Through team brainstorming sessions, we also decided we wanted to show the heads fighting in some way. From there, I started working hard on emphasizing different types of movements of each head in the idle. My personal favorite of the idling heads is the back left head, which just sort of bounces back and forth. I find that head to be a fun contrast from the more serious heads up front. Next, to fulfill our desire for a fighting animation. To provoke this, we decided to make the on-click animation a feeding animation. Now the heads could compete and fight over the food falling from the player. Our biggest challenge to overcome here was getting the necks to stretch and move just right. But with the help of our amazing tech artists, we landed on the perfect rig that bends and stretches the necks nicely. The last pivotal action we wanted to emphasize for the Goose Mother was, of course, the honks. I knew we needed at least one animation where the goose rears back and then lets out a big, satisfying honk. It was really fun to conceptualize and to convey the force of that honk through its animations. With the added visual effects and sound effects, I think the team really came together to show an absolutely powerful honk. The entire team loved working on the Goose, and I hope players enjoy seeing her on the battlefield. And now, I pass it on to our visual effects artist.
Hello, and nice to meet you, Internet. I am a VFX artist on MTG Arena, and I had the pleasure of creating the Goose Mother effects. My main takeaways from this process: bread is not good for geese, and making a honk visible can be a bit trickier than it initially seems. First thing in creating a pet is deciding what the VFX should be. For interactions, we decided on a goose treat so our players can feed their geese companion, small honk lines for when small honks seem most appropriate, and a big honk because, well, have you seen geese? Once we had our fun accepting the concepts, it was time for implementation. As I spoke to earlier, I learned that bread is not a healthy treat, but what were we going to feed our Goose Mother? Maybe peas? That was a healthy alternative. And I considered a green pea effect, but it just felt that peas lacked the variety we were going for. So after a little more research and consideration, I landed on drawing up a goose salad filled with dandelion leaves, chopped apples, and peas. All very healthy for a goose mother's diet. On to the honks. I won't lie, the whole team was looking forward to goose honks. To start, we had the honk lions for the small honks. These ended up being relatively straightforward. They're like the ones you see in comic books or cartoons. But then came the big honk. We wanted this one to have impact and feel big, which led to a little more trial and error. For example, we first started with some sound waves, but it just didn't have the impact we were going for. So in the end, we concluded that the best way to show what a big honk looks like is to use the same small honk lines, but just make them bigger. With 5 honk lines, 1 for each goose head, and then an added shock wave, we think this really drives home the impact and vibrato of the big honk. And with that, we have the lovely new companion that is coming to MTG Arena in our newest set, Wilds of Eldraine.
Thank you all for joining us for a Dev Diary on the Goose Mother. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you're looking to learn more, we have a running QA with Zach in our Discord today at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, and would love to have you join. See you next time.